From a frozen cave lion over 28,000 years old to the recent unveiling of the most endangered turtle in the world, here are 10 of the most shocking animal discoveries. Number 10. Frozen cave lion. In the Siberian Arctic, a very rare and dangerous animal was just discovered. 28,000 years ago, she was a cave lion cub only recently born. After she died, she became mummified and trapped in the ice until recently when the permafrost began to thaw. When the animal was discovered, experts were shocked because she was found in almost perfect condition, looking like she was simply asleep. Her golden fur was still attached to her body. She still had her teeth, her organs, and even her soft tissue. Her claws were still sharp enough that the scientists studying the creature could have accidentally cut themselves. The Siberian lion cub has been nicknamed Sparta. She is an extinct breed of cat that once roamed most of the northern hemisphere, but she wasn't discovered by scientists, instead being found by hunters on the banks of a river in the far east of Russia, who were looking for mammoth tusks. She was also found along with another lion cub just 15 meters away. However, the two are not related as they died 15,000 years apart. The other lion cub is actually 43,448 years old, though it wasn't found in nearly as good a condition as Sparta. According to Love Dalen, a professor of evolutionary genetics working out of Stockholm, Sweden, Sparta is the best preserved Ice Age animal ever found. Other than her fur being a little ruffled, she looks exactly the same as the day she died. She even still has her whiskers. She was only about a month old when she perished, though scientists still haven't been able to identify the cause of death. Number 9. Forgotten python. A woman in Florida made a very shocking animal discovery when she found a huge snake hiding in the bathroom of the apartment she had just moved into. And while this in itself may not have been that shocking, this is Florida after all, the woman's story is made even more terrifying by the fact that she had likely been living with the reptile ever since she moved in. The woman's name is Allie Skipper, and she believes the snake was probably living underneath her fridge without her knowledge. Allie had moved to the apartment just a few weeks before she found the serpent, which was probably left behind by the previous owner. It wasn't a dangerous snake by any means. It was only a ball python, about 1.3 meters long. But still, that's not the kind of thing you want slithering across your face in the middle of the night. But that's kind of how the discovery was made. Allie woke up on Friday early in the morning to discover the snake curled in her bathroom sink, as if it owned the place. According to Fox News, the snake was removed safely without anyone being injured. Even though it was only 1.3 meters, its fangs could still have done some damage to the woman had it lunged at her. Number 8. Ancient animal brain. An incredible fossil just discovered has shown scientists an ancient animal brain from roughly 310 million years ago. This is an amazing discovery because up until recently, scientists didn't think brains or soft tissues could be preserved as fossils, only bones. The discovery was made in the US at the Mason Creek deposit in Illinois. Scientists found the fossil of a horseshoe crab with its brain still intact, fossilized inside of a type of iron deposit called siderite. There is something about this mineral that makes fossils preserved within it extremely well preserved. Only ancient animals found entombed inside siderite have had their internal soft tissues preserved before they can decompose and melt. But what about the horseshoe crab and its brain? What can the fossil tell us about ancient animal brain power? According to Science Alert, the fossil matches up almost perfectly with modern horseshoe crabs. They have found almost no difference in 310 million years of existence. The nervous systems match up, the bodies were built with the same structures, and their brains are just about identical. Nothing has really changed, which is kind of odd, because animals are supposed to continuously evolve. That must mean the horseshoe crab perfected itself early on and has never really needed to change anything. You sometimes have to just sit back in awe of how a creature like that has been totally fine with no evolutionary changes for hundreds of millions of years. Number 7. Extinct river otter. An extinct animal brought back from the brink? Not exactly. But this giant river otter, previously believed to be extinct, was recently rediscovered in Argentina. It happened in the Bermejo River of the Impenetrable National Park. It hasn't been seen by human eyes since the 1980s and was last witnessed in this particular Argentinian river over a century ago. The sighting was made by Sebastian Di Martino, the local director of conservation at Tompkins Conservation. He was taking a kayak ride when he came across the mysterious otter, which he could identify immediately as the very rare specimen. It's always a good discovery when an animal is found that scientists thought was gone forever. One of the explanations is that the giant river otters were living in Paraguay, completely unknown to scientists, and are now making their way back into Argentina. This is also a very important discovery because it proves that the river is capable of sustaining life if the government just helps protect it. Now, this is a lot easier said than done. The river is constantly under threat because of agricultural development and illegal hunting. Still, the giant river otters are making a return, and conservationists have vowed to do all they can to protect them. Number 6. Glow-in-the-dark rabbits. A team of scientists have done the unimaginable. They have created rabbits that glow in the dark. Yes, rabbits that glow neon green when you turn the lights off. The creation of these genetically modified rabbits was part of an effort to treat dangerous illnesses. These glowing rabbits were produced by scientists at the University of Istanbul. 2 out of the 8 rabbits born were completely normal in the light, white and fluffy, but when the lights went out, they glowed. That's a pretty good ratio, 2 out of 8, especially since this is a new genetic manipulation technique. The way it was done is almost as unbelievable as the fact that it was done at all. The researchers injected DNA from a jellyfish into the embryos inside the mother rabbit. The jellyfish DNA worked to make 2 of the bunnies living nightlights. These experiments have also worked on cockroaches and cats. To be quite honest, you would think if they can create glow-in-the-dark rabbits, there's nothing scientists can't do with genetic modification. But the whole point of the experiment was to produce new medicine. Researchers want animals that can produce beneficial molecules which can then be extracted as medicine from their milk. What exactly glowing rabbits have to do with medicine is a little vague. But hey, nobody's going to complain if they can eventually have these adorable things as pets. Would you want a glow-in-the-dark rabbit as a pet? Would you love it, or would it creep you out? Tell me your thoughts on this genetically modified creature in the comments below. Then remember to subscribe to Epic Wildlife for more awesome videos just like this one. Number 5. Blood-Engorged Mosquito. Yes, this is the exact premise for the movie Jurassic Park, and it's really happening. For the first time in science, a fossilized mosquito was discovered engorged with blood. Testing has shown that the mosquito dates back 46 million years and contains the blood of an unidentified creature inside its body. This is a mosquito trapped in rock with the blood of some kind of prehistoric beast inside it. However, there's been no information given yet if the blood can be used for some kind of prehistoric monster cloning. We can only wait and hope. The discovery was made in northwestern Montana about 40 years ago. Isn't it strange that the discovery was made before the Jurassic Park movie came out? It wasn't until just recently, though, that a retired biochemist named Dale Greenwald, who had been on a mission collecting fossils for the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History, came across the preserved mosquito in a family collection. It was just collecting dust in someone's basement. Scientists are still trying to figure out what animal the mosquito sucked the blood out of. The blood isn't quite old enough to be from a dinosaur. Sorry to disappoint everyone. The mosquito lived about 20 million years too late, but it could be from a mammal or something more closely related to a creature still alive, which would make the possibility of cloning much higher. We'll have to wait and see. Number 4. Dwarf Giraffes. Scientists are baffled over the new discovery of dwarf giraffes. Yes, giraffes with dwarfism. Researchers with the Giraffe Conservation Foundation claim they have discovered the first known case of dwarfism in giraffes, which happen to be the tallest animals on the planet. Scientists actually found 2 of them in 2 different populations, with one discovered in Namibia and the other in Uganda. It happened during routine photographic surveys to keep tabs on the population of wild giraffes. The first dwarf giraffe was found in Murchison Falls National Park, Uganda. It was named Gimli. Yes, like the dwarf from Lord of the Rings. It measured only 2.8 meters tall and was a fully grown adult. Even though that's taller than most people, it's only about half the height of a normal giraffe. The average giraffe will grow to be 5 meters or taller. And just to make things even stranger, 3 years after the discovery of Gimli, scientists found Nigel living on a private farm in Namibia. He was 4 years old and only 2.4 meters tall, another dwarf. Scientists did a little bit of investigating. They found that both dwarf giraffes had shorter legs than other giraffes of the same age. In other words, they had skeletal dysplasia, known casually as dwarfism. But what's really bizarre is that this kind of condition isn't usually seen in wild animals. Humans, absolutely. Domestic animals, sometimes. But it almost never happens in the wild. Scientists don't know what's caused it or why it's happening now, at a point when the population of giraffes has declined 40% in 30 years. It could be an evolutionary jump to try and get smaller to avoid habitat loss. But again, scientists don't really know. Number 3. New ant species. Now, before you go and dare say that ants are boring, just listen to this cool discovery. 2 new species of ant have been found by a team of scientists in India, and they may be some of the most unique ants ever found. One of the new species is a type of ant that belongs to the Mizoram genus. Now, not much is known about these ants because they are rarely seen by humans. They live in unusually small colonies, sometimes with as few as 30 members. This is incredibly strange because ants normally live in huge hives, numbering in the thousands. These mysterious ants typically reside underneath rocks or in decaying wood. It's no wonder they've been so hard to find, as who would think to catalogue a few random ants living under a rock? The ants were described by biologists as having yellow bodies and living only in shaded regions at high elevations of over 1,400 meters above sea level. Plus, they're so small that they're almost not perceptible to the human eye. It's possible that these micro-ants hold some secrets that scientists will look to uncover in the coming years. They are better able to infiltrate houses as they're so small, so if they somehow multiplied too freely, it could be a disaster. Number 2. Mysterious yard monster. A woman in Florida discovered a shocking animal corpse in her backyard, and nobody seems to be able to identify what the mysterious beast is. The dead creature was found on a Friday. The woman walked into the backyard of her Titusville home and nearly screamed herself to death when she saw what looked like the molted skin of a demon. Kelly Garahan, the unfortunate woman who found the animal, snapped some photographs of it and posted them online. She was looking for answers and described the freakish animal as being about 1 meter long and looking like the chupacabra. A biologist was quick to comment on the photos and suggest the animal to be nothing but an opossum. But this is a pretty boring explanation. And besides, the corpse was removed and there was no way to tell for sure. Could it have been an opossum? It is possible, yes. But it's also possible that an unknown creature somehow made its way into this woman's yard and then dropped dead. The weirdest part was that the thing seemed to have been dead for a very long time. Its skin was leathery and it looked like all the blood had already been drained from its body. If it was simply an opossum that died in her yard overnight, it would have still been recognizable. This thing looked like a true monster, and even all these weeks later, the mystery still hasn't been solved. Number 1. The most endangered turtle. A new discovery has given the most endangered turtle in the world a chance not to fall into oblivion. The Swinhoe's softshell turtle has been culturally significant in Vietnam for hundreds of years. It's a symbol of Vietnam's independence and prosperity. According to local legend, the Swinhoe's softshell turtle first emerged from the Huan Kim Lake to reclaim a magical sword and defeat the Ming forces of China back in the 15th century. It's a strange supernatural story, but that's the way it goes. The turtle has been revered ever since. Even so, it's been listed as critically endangered for the past 20 years. Then, between 2016 and 2019, 2 of the very last of the Swinhoe's softshell turtles died without producing any offspring. But there is hope for the most endangered turtle in the world. In October of 2020, a female turtle was captured in Vietnam, the only known Swinhoe's softshell female. At that time, the only male in captivity was living at the Suzhou Zoo in China. Chinese authorities, along with Vietnamese conservationists, are now struggling to get these 2 turtles together, trying to jumpstart the population. If the female dies before producing any offspring, this could be the final end of Vietnam's most famous turtle, a remarkable cultural icon. How do you feel about all these crazy animal discoveries? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe for more. See you next time. Bye!